WeatherScope.
There's a potential 1-2 punch for the Northeast. Right now, a mix of precipitation throughout the region, which could cause some more problems. We have live coverage of this event coming up. Good evening. Welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Paul Emick. Now, for a complete update, we'll turn to Jeff Morrow in the Forecast Center. Jeff?
Yeah, this is definitely a messy one in the Northeast, Paul. We have a lot of moisture riding up from the south. We have a lot of cold air in place. That cold air is getting overrun. But it looks like the cold air is shallow enough that we're getting mostly freezing rain in some interior areas of southern New England, while northern New England gets some of the snow. We'll detail all of that for you in a moment. Let's first of all go to a satellite radar composite and notice all the moisture pushing up from the south. This is the same batch which we were looking at down along the Gulf Coast yesterday. Now is pushed up into the cold air here. Also want you to notice this batch of moisture. This is separate from the southern one, but they're both kind of coming together here into one almost solid shield of precipitation, and that does not bode well for travelers across parts of the Northeast as we head through the overnight hours tonight and early morning hours tomorrow. We have two Weather Channel live crews stationed in the path of this storm, one in Massachusetts at Worcester and the other just right next to the George Washington Bridge on the New Jersey side of it. I'll get it out, and that is Mike Seidel. Mike, it's been kind of a rainy night, but not a lot of ice around the Big Apple.
That's right, Jeff. Good news here. Enough warm air came in off the Atlantic that we survived, at least right here in the immediate New York City area. In the boroughs, out on the island, temperatures now in the mid-30s to low 40s. So it's all rain as the wind picks up tonight and tomorrow. But if you're traveling north and west out into the hills of northwest Jersey, up into Rockland and Westchester counties, up on the Palisades Parkway, those routes north out of the city, it's very, very icy. Temperatures running between 28 and 32. And it's going to be really tough to get those temperatures above freezing. So an extended period of ice tonight, significant accumulations are possible. No, it's not going to be as bad as it was in New England and Maine and those areas, but there is that risk of some power outages by early tomorrow morning. So the roadways again, Jeff, here in the city looking good tonight, and for the morning rush hour, just some ponding. But tomorrow afternoon, as colder air comes in aloft, anything that falls will change back to snow, and there will likely be at least an inch or two out in suburbia. We'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, the short term tomorrow is suburbia. Meanwhile, we've got snow on the way to New England. Fortunately, the ice storm is relegated to here. Snow to the north. Let's check in with Kristen Dodd from Worcester, Mass. Kristen?
Thanks, Mike. That's right. We have been seeing a variety of conditions here in Worcester and central Massachusetts as we first saw the snow come in, and now a little bit of freezing rain and kind of a sleet mix. It's starting to kind of build up on the roadways as well, and you can see that we have had kind of a little bit of dusting. It's kind of crusty, though, and kind of slick. One of the police officers stopped by just a few minutes ago to give us an update on the road conditions, and he said that where they're not getting the salt and the sand out, they are definitely seeing a beginning of a slick situation out on the roads, and that's only going to get worse for tomorrow morning, as we do expect the situation to continue throughout the nighttime hours. Over in Boston, 50 miles from where we are, also looking for a morning commute that could be tricky, to say the least. Back to you, Jeff.
All right, thanks, Kristen. And indeed, it looks like some of the heavier stuff's just about getting into your area, so I would batten down the hatches there. Kristen Dodd reporting live from Worcester, Massachusetts. Now joining me here at the update desk in the Forecast Center is senior meteorologist Colin Marquis. And again, more of a freezing rain sleet deal, I think, there in Worcester than snow, at least right now.
Yeah, we do have the cold air in place at the surface, but up above 6,000 feet or so, we have air above freezing, so that's a setup for some sleet and freezing rain from Worcester right on through the suburbs of Boston, I think.
All right, let's go ahead and show the folks, first of all, graphically what we're talking about here. And two areas of low pressure, I guess. This is the primary one right now, and this isn't really the big low. There's actually one farther south, so this is going to be going on for a while.
This particular wave of low pressure off of the Delmarva will actually scoot east, northeast actually, and head off of Cape Cod, keeping that cold air in place across the interior sections, and that's where we're going to be dealing with the travel problems. Worcester, down toward Hartford, and over toward Poughkeepsie. The major cities of Boston, New York, and all the way down through D.C., really no problems. Boston's temperature marginal right now, about 35 degrees or so, and so I think they may start out as a little bit of a mix, but soon after that, from their point south, probably just plain rain in the short term.
Okay, so a lot of what we're looking at least probably in this area, is rain at the present time. But as we head back here, temperatures are below 32, generally north and west of that line.
Yeah, in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, for instance, reporting some moderate to heavy freezing rain right now. And so this area in here, in fact, I should probably extend that over toward Poughkeepsie, reporting some impressive icing conditions. The precip edge that means business is heading off to the northeast, and will be arriving in Worcester and Boston between about 9 and 11. Here's a closer look right now, and the darker shades of green, notice in time or when this starts to loop, you'll notice they're heading off to the northeast between 9 and 11 for Boston and Worcester, I think.
Kristen located about right in there, so she is just getting some spits and starts of this freezing rain and sleet, but the heavier stuff, as you mentioned, is definitely on the way. Next couple of hours when we talk to her, it should be getting worse there.
That's right, and further south, by the way, the rain is quite heavy, and we could have some runoff problems in New Jersey, down toward eastern Pennsylvania, and lastly, the wind is going to pick up late tonight and into tomorrow from the east and northeast, perhaps gusting above 50 in coastal sections.
All right, so for the morning rush hour tomorrow, it looks like